as is too often the case with ancient church history, is we can't be as certain as we'd like to be. We certainly know that by 300, the universal practice of the ancient church was to baptize children, to baptize the children of believers. The problem is, what happened before 300, and how certain can we be about it? A number of years ago now, two German Lutheran scholars marshaled all of their vast learning, one to say the early church did baptize infants, that is very early, and another to say the evidence just isn't clear. Part of the problem in evaluating evidence is you can quote an early father saying, "We baptized children," but that doesn't tell you how old the children were. Obviously, it's one thing if you baptized a 1-month-old, it's something very different if you baptized a 13-year-old, and yet they're both children. And so when we look at the evidence in the early church, in the 2nd and 3rd century, the evidence is simply inconclusive. I don't think either side of this debate can entirely win, which is okay, because in the end of the day, history doesn't answer this question. The Bible answers the question. Theological reflection on the Bible answers that question, and that's really the way it ought to be.
You would have thought that if one of the great hallmarks of the Reformation was sola scriptura, that if they really believed that everything had to come from the Scripture, they would have set aside infant baptism since it wasn't anywhere in the Bible. But in spite of its absence in Scripture, they defended it and practiced it as if it was biblical. What is sad is that the Reformed Church never really filled up the Reformation. They say, well, history tells us that the Reformers accepted that. A lot of things happen in history that can't be viewed as the revelation of God. Only honest hermeneutics, honest exegesis in the Scripture can yield the true meaning of Scripture. History is no hermeneutic. History does not contribute to the true interpretation of Scripture. They will come back with this: well, the Scripture doesn't forbid infant baptism. Are we supposed to affirm the reality of all kinds of things Scripture doesn't forbid? I go back to the regulative principle. If it's not in the Scripture, you can't do it.